Welcome, it's just about time for Streets of New Capenna, where the halo flows freely. No, seriously though. Hi everybody, this is Steve, also known as M. Bacons, your voice of MTG Arena. Here are my top 5 cards for people who like to brew in Standard. First off, I want to take a look at Rabble Rousing. It's got Hideaway 5. It is a 5-cost white enchantment that says, whenever you attack with one or more creatures, create that many 1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens. Then, if you control 10 or more creatures, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Now here, Hideaway 5 is nice, but the real draw is the absolutely bonkers effect you get when you attack with one or more creatures. You basically get to double the amount of creatures you have every time you attack. And you can see where this really gets out of control is if you've got more than one of these on the battlefield. Now, lucky for us, we've got a couple of enablers coming in New Capenna. The one that stood out to me is probably Incandescent Aria, in that it clears out a lot of the chaff that usually blocks our creatures and lets us get in there. The other thing I wanted to take a look at, we might have to pair this card up with Ishin 2 Heavens as 1, so that we get double the triggers when we go to attack. So with this one, we want to make loads of tokens. The ultimate achievement for me will be to see if we can use this card to win with Halo Fountain. Coming up at number 4, we've got Body Launderer. Gonna launder some bodies. Love the look of this giant ogre rogue, but that's a little beside the point. Body Launderer is a 4-cost black creature that is 3/3 and has Death Touch. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, Body Launderer connives. When Body Launderer dies, return another target non-rogue creature card with equal or lesser power from your graveyard to the battlefield. So basically, you draw one card and then discard one card. If it's a non-land, you put a counter on the Body Launderer. So you can see after a couple of turns of this, sort of filtering the top card of your deck, putting some juicy reanimation targets in the grave. As long as you can get the Body Launderer up high enough with its power, you can return something good from the graveyard. Picture Village Rites, picture Deadly Dispute. Once you get a couple of counters on this guy, you can easily flip him into like a Jin Gitaxias, for example. So we'll see if he's got a spot in Reanimator decks, but if you know me at all, you know I will be trying more Reanimator decks. At number 3, we've got Brokers Ascendancy. This is a card in Bant colors, that's green, white, and blue. It's an enchantment, and it says, at the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and a loyalty counter on each planeswalker you control. So just thinking about a good home for this enchantment, really got the ideas flowing. So first off, there's Falco Spara, the new legendary creature, that sort of passes out shield counters and lets you play off the top of your deck by removing counters from things that you control. But, I mean, just think of all the other stuff that we've already got in some, like, decent standard decks. We've got Luminarch Aspirant, we've got Ranger Class, we've got Hopeful Initiate. All things that see a lot of play currently and collect a lot of counters collectively. There might even be a spot, finally, for old Oran Reef Ooze, who's just been waiting for somebody to put more +1/+1 counters on things besides itself. So this one looks like a lot of fun. Really hope we can abuse Falco Spara in some capacity in the new standard. All right, coming in at number 2 for me, got to talk about Jaxis the Troublemaker. Besides respecting the outfit a lot, that's a good fit. We've got it's a 4-cost red creature that is 2/3. It's legendary. It's got 2 abilities. First, pay 1 red, tap it, discard a card. You create a token that's a copy of another creature you control. That token gains haste and says when this creature dies, you draw a card. You have to sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step, and it's sorcery speed. But it's also got a blitz cost attached to it, so if you cast it for the blitz cost, it gains haste, and when it dies, you draw a card. So it basically applies that ability to itself if you need to in a pinch. You can see this fitting in some of the shells where Fable of the Mirror Breaker has made a little splash. There's a deck that I played not too long ago that tries to use Overcharged Amalgam, Brutal Cathar, things like Mind Flayer, just to reuse those comes into play triggers over and over again. Well, this gives you the added bonus of when that creature does die at the end of the turn, you get to draw a card. Sounds great to me. And coming in at number 1, we've got Arcane Bombardment. This card looks absolutely insane. I've got some decks where I've got a copy of Invoke Despair that we've made with Galvanic Iteration, and so I can just imagine tucking a whole bunch of instants and sorceries under this card and just having a lot of fun with it. This is going to be great fun. I can't even begin to imagine the invoke spells that are going to get put under this. and just this seems like good times. You know me, I like a Wizard Spellbook a little bit, and this is basically like Wizard Spellbook, but for free. This is like Wizard Spellbook if you roll a 20 each time. This sounds like good times. All right, well, I hope you've enjoyed my top 5 New Capenna combos for you standard brewers out there, and I will see you out on the ladder. Have some fun. And no, I'm not mentioning Bootlegger's Stash. Sorry.